I appreciate y'all taking the time to chat a little bit about the season coming up. I know just a week and a half or so away, if that, and know y'all are looking forward to another strong season here in 2025-26. Let's just start with having you introduce each other, if you will. Go ahead or introduce each of you as far as tell me a little bit about your name as well as your class and what your primary position is on the floor.
Okay. You want to start, Caroline? My name is Caroline Hollifield. I graduate in 2027. I'm a junior, and my primary position is
like a 3-4.
3 or
2, 3, 4.
Yeah. Shooting guard. Small forward. Something like that.
I'm Marley Jones. I graduate in the class of 2027, and my primary position is a post.
My name's Hallie Johnson. I graduate in 2026. I'm a senior, and I'm the point guard.
My name's Addison Herbert. I graduate in 2026. I'm a senior and point guard or shooting guard.
Okay, awesome. Coach, I'll start with you, Allison, just for a moment. Can you tell me a little bit just about this year's team and just kind of how things have been going here in the preseason as you're getting ready, and just a little bit about the work y'all put in during the summer months and off season to get ready for this upcoming schedule?
Yeah, we're super excited. We had a really good summer. This group of girls is super dedicated, so we were fortunate to be able to go to NC State to team camp this year. I felt like we had a really competitive run there. I think we lost one game to like a travel team, that was huge, honestly. And other than that, like we had a super strong summer. We went to NC State, we went to APS team camp, we went to Mars Hills team camp just to try to play, as many competitive games as we could. And I really like the identity of this team. I think, after last year having a really strong run down the stretch, and we kind of found that we were playing our best basketball, in February, and that's awesome. But you also kind of wonder how will that carry over into summer. And it carried over better than I could have imagined, honestly. Other than getting, some people banged up at camps and stuff like that, I felt like we were really strong, and I like the direction that we're moving in. Preseason, it's been awesome to have everybody back in the gym together. We had a lot of girls at fall workouts who weren't playing fall sports. So that was really good. And then our fall sport athletes had super successful seasons. Volleyball had a great season. Molly just won a state championship with golf. So it was awesome to see them do super well in the fall. And then it was really good last week to have everybody back all together. And they're working hard. We're really trying to emphasize being in the weight room. I think last year we realized we needed to get significantly stronger just to be able to kind of deal with Heritage and some of those more physical teams that we struggled with. So that's been a huge emphasis for us, and they've really responded to that. So
again, you brought everybody back, Coach, but I know just one senior from last year's team. But of course, every team is different. What kind of roles or positions are you looking to fill this season with this roster of who you have?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for us is if we want to press the way that we want to, and we want to be defensively.
For early dismissal.
Hold on, sorry.
For early dismissal.
All right.
Thank you.
I think if we want defense to really be our identity and what we kind of hang our hat on, and we want to play as fast as we do, we've got to be deeper. That was an area that I felt like last year sometimes we struggled with our depth. So we made a big emphasis over the summer to kind of not equalize our minutes with our bench players, but to really kind of put them in situations where they had to make decisions. The 4 girls I have in here have pretty much been starters their entire time that they've been in high school. So, these are kind of that core group of 4 who comes and fills that 5th role that Maddie kind of had a lot last year. I don't know that it'll be the same person every game. I know I'm super excited about the progress Addison Dellinger's made. I'm super excited about the role that Kylie has coming in, and I'm really excited to see what Tilly does. Tilly's gotten in a lot better shape over the summer, and I'm excited to see what that kind of looks like. But then you also have Callie Ray and Kesley, who are great shooters. You have Molly, who's kind of embodied this stretch 4 mentality where she was playing a point guard on JV because she's grew. And so it's exciting. I think we have a lot of kids who can fill that role, and we can be at least 8, 9 people deep easily. So I'm pumped about that.
Okay, awesome. Let me ask you all as players a question. What have you worked on personally yourself in your game that you wanted to improve coming into this season, that you really wanted to be better at? And what have you worked on here in this off season to get better and improve?
I think there's been a big emphasis on defense, kind of filling the role that Maddie had and being fast. And I think as a team and as individually, I'd like to grow in that aspect.
Okay. Y'all can answer. Oh, every one of you can answer. It's fine.
I agree with defense, but also shooting personally for me. That's what I've tried to focus on recently.
You can go.
Okay. In these few practices that we've already had, I've tried to work on not putting myself in such of a position to get thrown on the floor and get hurt. So just trying to stay balanced and under control while trying to take it to the basket, and then also working on both shooting and taking it to the basket.
I agree with Caroline. I also want to add that I've been trying to be a better teammate and encouraging to the younger people that look up to us and that might not be at their potential level because they are down on themselves.
Okay. Ladies, how would you describe the chemistry of your team? Well, how would you describe the way you all get along, the way you all commiserate on the floor, off the floor? Tell me a little bit about that. That kind of let our viewers kind of know a little bit about what the inner workings of your team is like. How well do y'all get along? Things of that nature.
I would say for a bunch of high school girls, we get along very well. And since most of us play sports together, like me, Hallie, and Marley just got out of volleyball together. So we're moving along with each other every season we go. So we know each other's life and we know what we're going through. And I think that it just helps us with the chemistry of knowing if you had a bad day, we can tell because we're around each other so much. So I think we get along very well.
I think this group, we've played together since like 4th and 5th grade, and we kind of grew together and struggled together. And I think we really came together last year, and I hope we'll stay together this year and have good chemistry.
I think that like for us all to be together 24/7, like half of the people in our basketball team hang out outside of school and outside of sports as well. So I think we all get along like very well for that.
Yeah, I think we all get along and we all can talk to each other about like what's going on in our lives because everyone's really supportive. And we all grew up in a Christian family, so we can talk to each other about anything.
Okay, awesome. Y'all mentioned health earlier and staying healthy and being stronger. And I know with at least a couple of you, y'all have had to overcome some injuries in your high school career. You know, different things y'all have had to overcome adversity wise. What does that teach you as a player when you have to overcome injuries that might be season ending or something that might sideline you for a while? How do you adjust to that? How does that help you in any way?
It teaches you not to take things for granted and to play like it's your last time because you never know when it is.
Okay.
Last year what round was it when we played Heritage?
It's the 4th round.
4th round of the playoffs. We
Third
played
round,
third round of the state playoffs. We played Heritage for the 4th time that season.
Mhm.
And Addison was out that game. So we were down a player. And then third quarter, I blew my knee out. Not terrible, but it just went backwards. And so then I was out, and then they had staying healthy is a really big the outcome of your season. It's kind of based on if everyone stays healthy and how you're taking care of your body and what you're doing.
For teenage girls, Jamie, I think because they have had to deal with so many injuries, kind of like little things, like Addison's been in how many boots, at the beginning of the season. She's been in a wheelchair, because of the stress fractures in her feet. Marley's had some ankle trouble. Hallie had the ACL. We thought Caroline was in bad shape last year. Praise God she wasn't, but still it was super scary. I think specifically these four really understand like how important taking care of their body outside of practice is, and we always are stressing, strength training, recovery. Joe does a great job, but at the same time, it really has helped them to understand that like you really can't take anything for granted, because basketball is a sport that you just naturally, there's going to be injuries from time to time. And so I think, for us, the key is staying healthy, but at the same time, it's also like being appreciative and just making sure they're getting the most out of every game that they do get to play, just because, like Hallie said, you never know when something weird's going to happen, and, it could end up changing the course of your season. So.
Okay. Yeah. Health is key. And that's exactly what I was thinking with the question, was just what had happened last season, and happens to every team. You have adversity, and just how you deal with that and how you respond is so important and really crucial to how good your season can be in many ways. As far as the conference this season, I know last season, I feel like a lot of media people and others who I've spoken with or read about and read from, they're not really saying much about Avery girls basketball this season. Surprisingly, that you have everyone coming back but one player, and I see a top 10, and you all aren't even mentioned as like receiving votes. Do you all feel like you have something to prove in the conference this season? Do you feel like that how do you all kind of ingest that? How do you use that for motivation, as far as trying to prove folks that, hey, we're a really good team and we need to be considered as far as one of the better teams in our region and maybe even statewide?
I feel like Avery County sports in general have always been seen as kind of lower than everyone else, and we're not as good because we're a little school or whatever. But sometimes being on the bottom isn't such a bad thing, that no one sees what's coming from you. So then you get out and you prove to everyone what you've been working on. And I think last year, I hope we can carry over the work we put in last year into this year, since we only did lose one person. So sometimes being on the bottom starting out isn't always a bad thing, I think.
I feel like we have a lot of potential this year, even though we might be the underdog, but we are still gunning for that top position because we have all the aspects we need to be at the top. I think last year when we played Polk, we proved that we could beat good teams, as they had a record of losing like 2 or 3 games.
They're like 24-1.
And I think that they expected us to lose because just the way the records were. And I think that the underdogs like us can be a good thing, because you never know what if you beat the better team or the team you're supposed to lose against. So it kind of puts you in a position where you can get the upper hand over someone better than you.
I agree that we do have a lot of potential, and I think that we've been through so many seasons where we're so close. Like, we know we have potential, but we just came short every time. And I think we lost Maddie last year, but this is our last year with this specific group that we've been playing with for so long. So I think we know how serious it is to how much work we have to put into it.
Okay. I hope everybody keeps thinking we're an underdog, Jamie, because it's really going to bite them in the butt. I'm going to tell you, that honestly, it kind of pisses me off, because we beat Polk by 15 points.
Right.
And they were ranked, 2-3 in the state last year, whatever. I don't put a whole lot of stock in those preseason polls.
Right.
They can think whatever they want to think, but I think this group of girls has a lot to prove. I am fully aware that this year we've got to win the big games. We've got to beat Heritage. That's there's no question about that. We've got to beat Watauga. Those games that we have kind of put on our schedule for a reason, and they're rivalry games that we've not been able to kind of get over the hump with a little bit. This group of girls knows what it takes to win those games.
Right.
And I think as long as they can stay together and stay hungry, good for everybody else for thinking that we're the underdogs. We'll take that all day long. Because they'll figure it out real fast that this is not a group that has an underdog mentality, like they know how good they are. They know how good they can be. And I think in spurts, we proved that last year. I think the biggest thing we've got to do is be consistent and play like that every outing. And I think the wins and losses will take care of themselves.
Yeah, it usually does. It seems to, at least, for sure. And you look at y'all's last your schedule last season and your losses. Was it 4 to Mountain Heritage, 2 to McDowell? Was it 1 to Watauga, and then the one with Mitchell kind of being the outliers? That sound right? 8 total?
Yeah.
I remember that earlier this morning. And basically y'all beat teams like Polk that people didn't expect you necessarily to beat. But then you also, with the exception of maybe Mitchell, I guess the one game there, you all took care of business against everybody that people thought you should take care of.
Yeah.
But mention Mountain Heritage, and I'll go back to them just for a moment. What makes them a tough program? What makes them tough for you guys to compete against with? I mean, I know the games are always solid. They're good games. They're always, it's going to be close and exciting matchups. But what is it that you feel like that you can take away from those experiences last season that will help you when you face those teams this year?
Playing Heritage is such a mental game. And Coach A always says in the locker room that if you would take their jerseys off and put a different color jersey on them, then we could beat them even easier. But I just think that knowing that it's Heritage and walking into their gym and seeing their fans that we've played with since we've played against them and the group of girls there, and they played against us since middle school. We all just traveled upward in grade together. And I think that maybe we beat Heritage twice in volleyball this season. So maybe that shows us that there is you can overcome Heritage, and I don't know, they're just such a winning program, and they don't like losing. And I think that this year we need to understand that losing is not okay. But
I feel like since they have been number 1 for the past couple of years, that we have just been a little scared, but we have nothing to lose because we're always the underdog, and they were always on top, and we're always gunning for them. But I think this year we have a lot of potential to beat them, since we did beat them in volleyball twice.
I also think that Heritage is such a mental game because we've grown up with these girls, played against them, know all their names, know all their backstories, and I think we've been in the weight room a lot this season, and just working on the physicality that they play with is going to help us. And I think this year we'll be able to finish our games with them. Last year we played really good with them, and then we come up short in the last little bit and end up losing. But I think this year we work on finishing the games and getting a win with them.
I agree with Hallie. I think that we just have to mentally prepare ourselves for them and match them in every aspect. And I think that consistency throughout that game is super important because there's always spurts in games with Heritage.
Yeah. I mean, I think we had a 20-point lead on them at one point. It was the game that I was having a baby, so I didn't get to be there. But I think on paper, if you match us position for position, we're better than every single position player that they have this year. The question is, can we be as physical as they are? Because that's how they win games. They're just more physical than people are. So that's kind of been like I said, that's been our emphasis in the weight room, is if we're going to be able to play with Heritage, we're going to have to be able to withstand that physicality. We purposely scheduled Hampton this year, early in the season, so that we could have to play a team that was super physical, just to prepare us for Heritage. There's certainly purpose in scheduling a team like that because I know how physical Hampton's going to be. So hopefully, we can bring that level of physicality to them as opposed to just taking it. Because I feel like for so many years, we've just we've taken their physical, their amount of physicalness, and we've just kind of been a little bit scared of it. And I think now, the way we're wanting the girls to play is you go be the more physical team. You kind of impose your will on other people. Don't let them push you around.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's it's fundamental. You know, you've got to match whatever the other team does. I mean, and then some for sure. Let me ask you all about the schedule coming up. I mean, you've got a extensive schedule. You've got 2 new teams in the conference this season too, with Hendersonville and of course Polk, who y'all faced in the postseason last year. Who are you most looking forward to playing against this season? Who are you most looking forward to playing that's on your schedule this year, and how come?
Personally, Heritage,
Okay.
but it's just because like I want us to finally win, and I think we have the most chances of that this year that we have in my past 3 years.
I would agree. Heritage is, it feels so good to beat them, especially for our senior year. And I also think Mitchell and Heritage, just as them being rivalry schools, I just think those are just really fun games to play. And I'm excited to play them this year. I'm looking forward to playing Hendersonville because everyone talks up on them, how good they are. But I think we can stay with them because we have the talent and the potential to be just as good or even better than they are.
I'm looking forward to playing with Taga because I think that we really can beat them this year. We played them at App in one of the summer tournament camp things, and we only lost by 1, and we didn't have everybody. We didn't have all of our players. And I think that seeing them beating us this summer is going to give them the big head of, oh, we can beat them again. But I really think that we can come out and beat Watauga, which has been a team that we've lost to since I remember.
You know, it's funny, Jamie, you mentioned our losses last year, and outside of the bad loss at Mitchell, which on paper it's bad, but I think for us it was probably a good thing, you know, in terms of like kind of helping us have a little bit more internal motivation. Hearing them clap overrated at us is probably one of like the top 5 like most I don't want to say embarrassing, but like just that's one of those moments that as a coach I'll never forget. That's one of those things that kind of like drives you, I guess. But like if you look at who we played against, like you look at Kate Sears, who's gonna be an impactful player at Virginia Tech. Like you look at McDowell, who literally has some of the best players in the state. Like they went all the way to the Final Four last year. Like if you think about the games that we lost last year, you know, those are really good teams that we played against. You know, so I hope that those games playing those specific people will really carry over because everybody that we're bringing back, you know, was a huge part of those games, you know, and my big thing, especially with Polk and Hendersonville coming back into our conference, I don't want my girls to walk onto the floor scared of anybody, you know, like, and they really shouldn't, because the truth of it is they've had more basketball experience than any group of girls that's probably ever played at Avery. They've played more basketball together than any team we've had that I remember coaching or have been a part of. So, you know, I think playing in all those games and being in all those moments like super young is going to be really good for them this year. I think that's going to pay off. At least I hope it does.
Yeah, it's an interesting schedule. And again, the conference does. Hey, I remember the last time when Hendersonville was part of the conference, they were not very good. they were not great teams. But Polk has always been solid. I know they're always a fun team to take on. I mentioned what team you'd like to play. Ladies, let me ask you this: what gym outside of Avery, you can't use Viking gym? What gym do you most enjoy playing in? What's your favorite place for you to play, and why is it your favorite place to go play?
My favorite place to play is Mitchell because I think I shoot well in Mitchell. The last game I had at Mitchell was probably the best game I had all season last year. And I like how everyone knows you, you know everyone, and you're just trying to prove what you have individually and as a team to everyone that knows you.
Okay.
I really don't have like a specific gym. The gym I like to play at, they went out of our conference, was withdrawn. I just feel like I don't know anyone there, and like I don't have anything to prove, so I can just play how I want to play.
My favorite gym besides ours is probably a Heritage gym. It's kind of it's just big and it's a good environment to play basketball in. And Mitchell's gym has not been so lucky for me.
Okay.
There, but I'm hoping this year we'll break the streak.
Yeah. Mine is also Mitchell. I just think it's because we played there so much.
Yes.
Like all throughout my like being in high school. The conference tournament was there one year.
Yep.
And then last year we played there so many times. So I think it's just like I've got more comfortable being in there.
Heritage is my favorite gym to play in ever. So like I love to coach in Heritage Gym. It's like my favorite environment. They do a really good job of creating a really good environment. Like it's always intense, it's always loud. Like you know what you're gonna get when you walk in there.
How much, y'all all can answer this question as well. How important is the support of the crowd at especially your home games? But I know they travel pretty well too. But how important is the folks like your student section being loud and rowdy? How important is it for there to be a big crowd of supporters for you all during your season, during your games?
Okay. I think that the student section brings one of the most intense crowds that we need, because as players, if you go into another gym and you see a huge student section, you're like, oh Lord, we're gonna get yelled at. Everything we do, we're gonna get booed. And I just think that from a parent, if you get screamed, like if Heritage parents scream at me, I don't think that it means I don't really care as much as if like their student section is yelling at me. And so I think that our student section is a big deal. We had a very good outcome of student section in volleyball.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where they all came from, but they showed up and I was really happy for that. But also our parents do travel well. We do have a crowd that goes with us everywhere. And I think, like Coach Jay said, how Heritage's gym, like just the crowd that you walk into, and I think that our crowd could turn into that.
Yeah, I agree that our student section has been like really good at like boost our energy up, and like when you have another student section yelling at you, but you also have yours that's like encouraging, it like helps a lot. And also our parents being there and like our supporters that want to see us succeed and do good help us. Like we have people that want to see us do good in this season.
I think the student section is like so fun and important for high school games because it just creates like a sense of like rivalry to any school when you play. So like when you walk into a gym and there's a huge student section, it's a little intimidating, especially when they're like yelling your name and stuff and talking about your bad hairstyle and they're just screaming at you while you're playing and you're like, okay. And so I think it kind of scares and intimidates other teams, but I also think that we have a good community that supports us. And I really saw that when we played in the third round at Heritage when we got escorted on a bus through town and there were so many people in town like waving us on, and I'm very thankful for that too.
Yeah, I agree that a big student section is just like an intimidation factor that like destroys the other team sometimes, but it's also what builds our adrenaline throughout the games. And on the flip side of the third round, I remember our first round game that was home and like nobody was really here.
Yep.
And that was just a really bad game. So
I think these girls have earned a lot of community support just because they've been playing together for so long, you know,
Right.
and their parents are so awesome in the sense that like they've always been like everybody's parents is super supportive. They're all, you know, all in at everything that we do. And we definitely don't take that for granted. I think our community really needs to come and rally around these girls this year. Like that would be my big challenge to the community is come out and rally around these girls because they've earned that, you know. They're a lot of fun to watch. The way we play is a lot of fun to watch. So I hope that the community will do that and support them in the way that they deserve to be supported.
Awesome.
I think so too.
Good.
Since volleyball ended, everyone I see, they're like, when's basketball starting? Do you know when basketball's starting? When's your first game? And I'm just like, well, I don't know yet. And then when I do find out, I tell them and they're like, I'll be there. So I think we will have a good support system.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to ask y'all some questions with a little bit of levity to them, hopefully a little less serious of questions. Y'all who are part of volleyball know how that kind of works with me. I like to ask some kind of off the wall things as well. Tell me what your pregame meal consists of. What would you eat for your favorite meal pregame? And let me just say this, first of all, I know y'all mentioned about taking care of your bodies and health and those things. The guys to a person said the gas station.
Okay.
Getting gummies at the gas station, which I guess that fuels them. I don't know, but I'm curious to get you all's answers as what a pregame meal, either road or home. Just what is like your go-to for pregame meal goes?
So usually before a game, a basketball game, since there's a lot of running, I don't eat a lot of stuff before, except like I'll eat some crackers, or I usually get popcorn, no matter what gym I'm in, or whether that be here or Watauga, Heritage. I just like to have popcorn. It's light and salty and kind of it tastes good.
Yeah. I don't feel like I have a routine with my food choices before a game. I just eat honestly whatever. But I'm like the opposite of Hallie. I try to eat a good amount because I feel like it gives me more energy and I can run more. Even if I am running it off, it's okay. But I try not to eat right before the game because it kind of makes me sick. But I try to get some sugary stuff in before the game too.
Yeah. I like to eat carbs before the game because like carbs do turn into sugar. So I like to eat my hot noodles.
Okay.
I feel like I'm also the opposite of Hallie. I eat a lot before I play basketball. Eating before any sport has never really bothered me, like in the sense of throwing it up or anything while I'm running. But I don't know. And also, like after I play, I don't feel like eating, so I basically eat supper before.
It's my appetite.
Yes, I just don't feel like eating after I play basketball, so I eat before. But I don't know. Whatever the concession stand is selling is normally what I get. Bojangles chicken sandwich, anything.
We had a lot of quesadillas last year.
Yeah, quesadillas are team favorite.
Yeah, they ate a lot of cheese quesadillas.
If y'all are on a winning streak, do you change what you eat? Do you keep eating the same thing over and over? How superstitious are y'all?
So Samuel always has these mints
Oh yeah,
that he eats before the game, and we're on a winning streak. We keep that.
the
But
same flavor.
if
But
not,
if
then
you
we get a
lose,
different flavor.
change the flavor. You lose, you change the flavor.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's that part of superstition too. Is there anything that you have to do before a game outside of eating? Something that you have to either talk to a certain person, do a certain shake of a hand, or do something special with your taping up. Is there anything you do ritual wise that might be quirky or something that you're maybe superstitious about?
A lot of us go talk to Mr. Sluter and Mrs. Sluter, and we usually talk to Mike Shaw and make sure we go and talk to them and check in on them and thank them for supporting us.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we always pray before a game because I think that's a very big part of what we do before a game. We pray in the locker room, and then sometimes we even pray before we play on the court. And we've been praying before lifting weights and practice because I think we as a team see that as a very big part of like the Lord's gonna let whatever happen that He wants to happen to keep us safe and everything.
Okay. Doesn't hurt to ask for a little divine intervention. There's nothing wrong with that, I guess. For sure.
Get all the protection health-wise we can get. So
Keep us healthy. No injuries, right? Help us stay healthy. Practice is so much fun, I'm sure, especially when you're having to run the gassers and the sprints and all those fun things. But what's your favorite thing about practice? What do you most enjoy about the practice time?
I enjoy scrimmaging because like we are very competitive and like we like to go at each other. And yeah, I just feel like scrimmaging is my favorite thing to do in practice.
Not really. I guess it kind of is practice, but I've really been enjoying lifting weights the start of this season. I think that's really going to help us in the long run. But also, I think that back to team chemistry, I think that our chemistry is so good that we can push each other to be the best that we know each other can be during practice and get mad at each other and push each other around. But after in the locker room, like we know that it's genuinely just because we want each other to be the best we can be, and we're not
Like, it's not something you stay mad about and you go home and you're like, I'm so mad at Marley because she pushed me when I was shooting a layup today. I think that's good team chemistry because it's just how well we come back together after having a hard practice.
My favorite part I like is when we scrimmage or do shell drill when we compete. And I also like doing fast break offense where we work on our fast break because we're a very fast team and like to shoot layups as much as we can. And I think that's a big identity of who we are, and I like to do that.
I also like fast break offense, and it's kind of became like a part of our routine of practice. We've been doing it a lot recently, and we did it a lot last year. But I also like stretching before. I just like when we all can stand there and talk for like 5 minutes just together about
How
random
practice
stuff.
is going to go.
It's just a fun part.
We're
Of,
like, what do you think's on the practice plan today?
We're running.
All right. If let's say it's pregame or you're warming up or whatever it may be on the floor, and I give you a pair of earbuds to put in or AirPods, what song would you be listening to when you're playing? When you're warming up, practicing, shooting? What music would you listen to if you could use any music? Or any-
I like to listen to First Day Out because it's really hype, and I just like to listen to rap music because it just gets me in the mood.
Okay.
I'm the opposite. I like don't listen to rap music, and half the time I didn't even understand what it's saying. So I don't know. I listen to more of like not country, yes, but also like pop, not necessarily rap, but words you can understand, which is pop. I don't know how Marley does it. But even in the weight room when I'm playing music, Coach Jay's like, don't put on that depressing stuff, make me want to jump off a wall.
They play the saddest music sometimes in the weight room, and I'm from the generation of like Eminem and like Pop 2K. So sometimes there was some Avril Lavigne in there the other day that was getting us hop a little bit. But yeah, Hallie's like listening probably to hard rock. Like some kind of like hard rock.
Dad rock. Kenny's hammering that into it.
Yeah, I listen to a little bit of rock, a little bit of rap, or like modern day R&B. And I don't really know. I just listen
That's
to
awesome.
a mixture of things.
yeah, I listen to just honestly whatever is upbeat or whatever I'm feeling like listening to in the moment.
I've told them, Jamie, they have to have a very legit playlist this year when it comes to their run out and stuff like that, because they've got to do a good job of getting the crowd and everybody into the game. I remember playing at Heritage in the conference championship 2 years ago, and they were playing swag surfing, and the whole gym was just like rocking. Like, I will never forget that. And I thought, gosh, this is like the most intimidating atmosphere, but I would love to be a kid getting ready to play, in this. So I hope that we can do a really good job of getting things to that level in our gym this year. We got new speakers, new sound system, all the things. I think Mr. Kenny's going to help us with some pregame light show stuff. So I think as long as they play hard and take care of the win column, we're going to try to make it a really cool atmosphere for them this year.
Awesome. Now, if they'll just fire the public address announcer, y'all be set.
Yeah, you're going to have to get excited.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I absolutely enjoy it. It's a great way to get hyped up for sure. No doubt about it. All right. Another couple of questions that are rapid fire here that are kind of, loose thinking here. Who on your team is the prankster, jokester, funniest person? Who makes you all laugh the most? Why? Y'all
Hallie.
turn-
She's just goofy. I don't know.
I
She
think
cracks
half
some 6-7 jokes a lot.
the stuff she says doesn't even make sense in my brain. I just think it's just funny.
All right. Hallie, why is it important to do that? Why do you think it's important to kind of be loose and funny and kind of keep the mood light?
I think it kind of just eases the environment if we're like, I don't know. It just kind of helps people ease up if they're feeling down or if they're stressed. I think it just kind of helps everybody out, puts everyone in a better mood.
Okay. That definitely helps for sure. If you all were in a hurry, y'all were getting ready to go on a road trip, say to Rosamond, Heritage, somewhere far away, and the bus is ready and y'all are getting ready to go, who would most likely be the player that would get left? That maybe wouldn't make it, who maybe is always late, or the person that's always kind of last minute.
Let's leave some stuff. It'd be me.
It don't have to be anybody in the room. It can be somebody else. If you want to throw someone else under the bus on your team, you're welcome to. Y'all
I think that leaving like your jersey here, your shoes here, all that goes to Marley.
Yeah, I agree.
But leaving them personally, like you are not on the bus, would be Emma.
Emma, I agree.
Okay.
McClure. We left her that one time.
It would be calling. She'd be like, "When are we getting out of school?" And we're already loaded on the bus, ready to go. So
Okay. All right. Well, that's all right. It's just don't leave them behind, right? For sure.
We did leave Emma a couple years ago at a camp at AC Reynolds, but we remembered in about 3 minutes, so we didn't get too far down the road.
Okay. What player do you all model your game after? Who do you like? Whose game do you like to watch? And who do you kind of model and try to strive to play kind of most like from people you admire who play the game?
Back on this team.
No, I think he means
It
like
can be anybody, any person you've seen or watched, or
Liz
it can be
or-
somebody you play, whoever, whatever it might be.
I don't think they watch a whole lot of basketball.
I would say John Morant, just because he's like very hype and like pumped and like, yeah.
There you go. Marley watches some ball.
I will say I like the way I feel like at least Alyssa Cheek and Kate Sears kind of play the same way that I've got to play against. Not necessarily watching them, but playing against them makes me want to, like, realizing how hard it is to defend. I think it makes me want to be more like them. Take it to the basket.
I like an NBA player I like to watch is Kawhi Leonard, just because he's so emotionless and he just gets stuff done without really like showing his emotion. I really like watching him play.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know too much about college either. But I agree with Caroline, like especially playing against other teams that have players like that go farther, that are going to big schools. You really see like the impact that they have on their team and how they can just change a game completely. Especially with Watauga last year, playing them
Mhm.
at Watauga.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to ask a similar question, but a little different. If you could play somebody one-on-one, who would you want to take on one-on-one? Just maybe playing horse or playing one-on-one on the floor. It could be somebody you played against. It can be someone you haven't played against. Maybe somebody you've seen from a distance. Who would be somebody you'd like to play one-on-one against?
You got it. I don't know.
I'd like to one-on-one Addison Gregory because we have a lot of tension and like, yeah.
You guys know? I don't know. I like playing with my team.
Okay.
Me too.
All right.
Basketball is not a 1v1 sport. I will say that.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah. Sometimes you might have to take somebody off the dribble or shoot over them, but still, that does in itself to more team play for sure. Let's see if we got anything else to ask. Yeah. Okay. Let me ask you what's maybe the most important thing you've learned from Coach Phillips, from Coach A? What's maybe something most important thing that you've learned from her as a coach? Help you. And it don't have to be, and it can be beyond basketball. I don't mean just how to dribble without looking at the ball, whatever. I'm just in general. What does she taught you?
Personally, I think that I had something.
I think she's taught me that basketball, like high school basketball, takes you so much farther in life than you think. Just like it teaches you morals about like showing up on time, being a good leader, communication. And she's kind of emphasized that this takes you farther in life than just high school basketball, and that this will stay with us even when we get older.
I agree with that completely. Like, I don't know, she's taught us so much in the past few years, like being able to overcome things, and it just like we carry it on with the rest of our lives, just being on a team like this, and like Hallie said, showing up for things and just putting all our effort into something. She's taught me that like my self-worth and everything does not revolve around basketball. Like basketball is not why she loves me or not why my mom loves me, like stuff like that. Just little things that I personally like. If I have a bad game, she's like, that doesn't define you and stuff like that. I think that's what I've learned the most.
I agree with Hallie. Like, she's really taught us how to like be on time for things, and like basketball goes farther in life, and we can stay with these people and have a good chemistry later on in life.
Okay.
She's always told us that, like, after basketball, she'll still be there for us. Like, her being our coach is not the only thing that she's in our life for. Like, she's going to be right there for us for if we ever need anything or ever need to talk to her.
Okay. Now I'm going to flip the script. Coach, what's something about these players that maybe a lesson they've taught you?
She left.
Left? Oh.
She had to go meet with a parent.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I thought she was still there. Oh, well.
She left. As soon as you asked the question about her, right before that, she left.
That's all right. She didn't even get to hear it. You probably would have had her crying. That's all right, though. But I'll wrap up because I know y'all have class. I know you just absolutely hate being out of class. So let me ask you one final question here. What equals success for you all this season? You fill in this blank. The 2025-26 Avery Lady Viking basketball season will be successful in our eyes if this happens, if blank. But how would you fill in that blank? What's going to make this year successful?
I think being consistent all year round and being consistent in the games, where we fight through the games and we finish the games how we started them. I think that's going to make us very successful if we're able to do the little things and finish the games.
Yeah, finish is a big part of our season because we've gotten so close to beating all the teams we want to beat, and then like we've been saying this whole time, we just fall short of it. And if we would just learn how to finish when you're so close to the finish line, then it'll really help us succeed this year.
Okay, awesome. Anything else y'all want to share? I won't hold y'all up any longer. I appreciate y'all taking this time to talk to me and to share. I know our community is excited. And is there anything you want to share with the community, with anybody who might see this who's supporting you all? What would you like to say to them?
We're really excited for this year, and we think it's going to be very special, and we hope to see everybody's faces.
Yeah.
All right, fantastic. Well, ladies, best of luck to you this season. Hopefully everything will be well. Stay healthy, and we look forward to seeing y'all. I guess first home game coming up, like I say, in about a week and a half now. So it's time to be ready for some basketball. So, anything else y'all want to share before we close?
Come to our first game Friday.
We have a scrimmage this Friday at home.
Okay, a home scrimmage this Friday. Absolutely. To let folks know, yeah, definitely come be a part of the team, see what this team looks like this season. I think it's going to be really exciting, coming off a great year last year, and I look forward to even greater heights this year coming up. Ladies, thank you again. Appreciate the time, and best of luck this season.
Thank you.
All right, take care. Thank you.